Dr. Saab, moving to you, what about the work environment as well? It's not just at school, it's all over in society. How do we interact with women in the right way?
It's again comes down to practicalities. You can't lock yourself up in a room and in a closet and not interact with the outside world. You have to interact with the outside world. I remember as Hifdul Masih Rabi IV mentioned, again in discussing university life and mixing, he said, rather than focusing on all these negative elements, you should be the light of attraction to other people around you. There should be something so bright within you that attracts other people. So I feel if your own spiritual integrity and moral integrity is such, these issues cause you no difficulties whichever country or whichever society you're in, because people recognize you for what you are, and people said the signals that you give, the way you dress, the way you look. You may have, my own personal opinion is, you may have a whole group of females, you may be the only male, but because of the way you function and the way you behave, I would say that still will not cause you a problem, because the signals that you give tell people. And there are examples of students that have been to university, they are in a social club environment where there is a lot of noise, and their own colleagues have told them, said, excuse me, do you know it's 5 o'clock? Usually at this time you're doing your prayers.
Very true.
So your own behavior will resolve a lot of your issues.
We'll touch more about university life a bit later on in the program. You touched on an interesting point there.
These things and think, oh, we are closed, we're locked up, we can't do anything.
One point that you touched on was about clothing and the message that gives out. I think that's really important. Jahangir Saab, how important is it that the way you present yourself and your clothing, and what effect does that have in society?
Well, it has a lot of effects on society, and people are always interpreting how you dress and your body language. They're always interpreting it, like Aziz Saab said, because we've been hardwired for that. It's part of our evolution. The evolutionary process has brought us to that. Right. But if you let it, if we let our evolutionary process take us to an animal state, then we're no better than animals, and then the results that we find in the animal kingdom will also be repeated here.
So we have to. That's what was happening at the moment. People are dressing less and less, it seems.
Yes, it's true, but the thing is, it all depends on the signals you're giving out. If, for example, you're wearing a perfectly good shirt, but then you see some girls coming along, you start unbuttoning the shirt in the front. It's all on your intention. You're giving out the signal to say, hello, I'm available, so are you interested? If you're giving out that vibe, people will pick up on it. Now, to take up on what Dr. Saab had said just now, there's another thing which people don't realize often as well. It's that, of course, I agree completely with what you said, that if you behave in a dignified way, soon you'll find that your group of friends around you, they will start protecting you from bad influences from the outside. Right. When people come in, for example, other women will come, they'll tell them, don't shake hands with him because it's not the thing he does. He's not like that, he's very dignified. They'll help you. But on the other hand, there are a lot of girls out there who are looking for a good mate as well. And when they see, for example, in particular Ahmadi boys, they have all the pluses there. They're ticking all the boxes. They're dignified, they respect women, they're trustworthy, they believe in God. There's a whole load of things.
Believe in God.
Yeah, even,
This is an amazing problem that it's almost a paradox that by actually following your faith and your regulations, you yourself become attracted to the opposite sex, because you can enjoy yourself, you can have a good time, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you're a perfect.
But then what happens is sometimes they pick on you and they try their luck on you, right, to have you as their mate then, you see.
That's another thing as well, if you are
and I know there are some boys that I've met myself who told me that we were minding our own business, we were doing our own thing, and the girls are coming after us. So what do we do?
Because of their moral character, you're saying?
Because of their moral character. But then that's where they have to kind of make that decision for their future.
Right.
Is this what they want for their future? Is this how they want their life to go?
The third Caliph, he advised every young man to read a chapter of the Quran. Do you know which one it was? Chapter 12. The Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam.
Okay.
And if you haven't read that chapter very, very critically, then you will miss the golden lesson for every man. Because exactly as he's saying, when the women of that city saw Yusuf, they said, he's not a man, he's an angel. He was so attractive.
And they all wanted
irresistible. So I always say to young people, imagine you were in this position, what you would have done. Your father's gone, no family's around, you're all alone, locked in a room with the most beautiful woman you can think of your time. Let me just think who that person would be. Beautiful, powerful, rich. I mean, it's what every man wants.
Right.
And yet he resisted her temptation. How did he do it? This is the question that's answered in that chapter. So I'll leave it as an open exam for people to go back and look and see what they find.
I'm sure if people reflect on that, there's a lot to take out from that. Looking at society in general, I mean, we've talked about society, but a main exponent of that is the media, and we're getting a lot of images and a lot of messages from the media as well. So when that has an effect on us, how can we counterbalance that? Jahangir Sahib, what would you-
Well, I mean, you see a lot of things out there. You see murders happening on television. Obviously, it's having an effect on people, but do we have to go and do that? I mean, you're kind of limiting what you do anyway. There are certain things which you will not allow yourself to do at all.
But having said that, every program, it seems, that's aimed at young people sort of promotes this lifestyle.
It does, that's true. It glamorizes sex. I mean, there's no, two ways about it. But the thing is that then it's for the individual to have that real relationship with Allah. They have to have that relationship. They know that at the end they're going to stand before Him and all have to go back to Him. And they know that what He said is true because all the promises He's made have come true so far. And He's giving us living signs that He's present. And so they have to, of course, keep that in view. It's never worth it to abandon God, because how can you abandon Him? He's there all the time. And go off, off the beaten track and go and do whatever and then try to come back. It doesn't work like that. So you have to always arm yourself with your spiritual weapons, which are prayer and asking God for help all the time. God, of course, will make you stronger then and help you to go through the difficult times.
All right, let's move to the audience here. Living in the West, we've got all these messages and everything from the media as well. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with these influences that we're faced with?
I think that sometimes the media says that certain things are acceptable. Like you have parties and stuff shown on TV shows and stuff, and then people go out and say, look, let's imitate that kind, those kind of parties and stuff. Yeah, that's true. But I think also to do with friendship as well. That I believe personally that you should, like what I found in university was at the beginning, you have to make friends and meet people. And you were saying that you have to know who the good boys are and the bad boys are, in the sense that, when you start speaking to them, they start speaking about girls all the time. So, I mean, what I did was that I tried to realize that what is he giving to me, positive values, which he's giving to me. And I found that, I wasn't getting really any good, things from him, any good qualities that I could, pick up on or imitate. So I thought, it's better if I, just keep my distance from that person. And also I found that, if he doesn't respect my beliefs, what kind of friendship do we have? There should be a mutual respect for each other's beliefs.
That's a mature way of looking at it. So thanks for that view as well. For the panel, I mean, as Anif Sahib, you're from America. What's it like there? Is it any worse or is it any different to here in the UK?
Honestly, at first I thought it would be worse. But the more I come to England, the more I realize the fundamental Christian values are so strong in the States still that it kind of tampers down, waters down this fire that's raging everywhere. And it's the same. Europe and America is just one extension of the exact same philosophy and way of life. The culture, it's a global culture. I mean, you can be in China or you can be up on the moon, you'll get the same images, the same paper, everything, the same messages, and thus the same challenge. And I believe that what you're facing is nothing unique to you, it's throughout the Western world.
We're going to be wrapping up this general area. Jahangir, I want to ask you one question. We've been talking about temptation and what not to do. If we have friends who are living a certain lifestyle that we think is bad for them for the reasons we've just discussed, what can we do to advise them? How can we actually advise them?
Well, you have to talk to them and tell them, that what are you doing? Have you thought about the consequences? Because the consequences aren't hidden from anybody. If you go and muck around, you're going to have to pay for it at some point. And the results are there for everyone to see. So we have to discuss them with our friends. If they're your friends, that means you like them, and that means you care for them. Then you have to try your best to influence them positively. If they don't listen, well, then that's their choice. But if they really don't listen and they don't change their ways, then it would perhaps be better for you to, like our young friend here had mentioned, to change friends. Go for another set of friends altogether.
As I said, just finally, like Dr. Saab was saying, that for your qualities to be there, they have to be tested. So does that mean that for us living here in the West, where these qualities are tested on a daily basis, does that mean the reward for us is potentially greater? Some people take that viewpoint.
I'm glad you again brought this point back. We are in the latter days. This is what we are experiencing. And the further we go into this age, the more it's accelerating in evil as well as goodness. You know, you have both things going on. As I said, when I say the salty and the sweet water, the evil is accelerating, you know, dramatically. When I was a young man going through college and went through all the things you were talking about here, at one point they thought I was perhaps homosexual because I wouldn't go around girls. I wouldn't date, I wouldn't move around. I had this label, I didn't mind it. At the same time, the Prophet Muhammad told us one sajda in this age will be worth all the sajdas in the early age because of the environment we're in. All these pressures, all these temptations, all these are potential blessings for a man who will stick to his guns and follow his path and push through all of this, you know, that's trying to draw us along the wrong path. And this is therefore a greater reward, as Dr. Sabir said, if we can do it in this age, than if you were in an environment like Pakistan in the earlier eras where Jamaat was there. And everything is keeping you, you know, moral and saintly and holy because you have no option, you know. Where are you going to do something evil when everything's around you, your aunties, your uncles, your parents are there? You know, this is the point.
Okay, Jazakallah, thanks for that. We're going to take a short break, but stay with us because afterwards we're going to be talking about specifically living within university and all the problems that come with that as well. So stay with us after this short break.
वक्त था वक्त मसीहा न किसी और का वक्त था वक्त मसीहा न किसी और का वक्त मैं ना आता तो कोई और ही आया होता मैं ना आता तो कोई और ही आया होता जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद अहमदियत जिंदाबाद अहमदियत जिंदाबाद अहमदियत जिंदाबाद अहमदियत जिंदाबाद अहमदियत जिंदाबाद
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Real Talk. On today we've been talking about free mixing, and in the second part of the program we're going to be specifically looking at university life. Now to the panel, I mean, I went to university and I lived out as well. One thing I found was that the biggest challenges weren't actually to do with studies, it's to do with time management and dealing with your finances, having the pressures socially as well. So when there is so much there that can distract you, how do you deal with that as a Nifsa?
It's setting a basic plan of action right from the beginning. And if you have a general sense of how you want to see your day go, I mean, this is the mistake people will make. They think that comes in the corporate world, but it's a matter of organizing yourself right from the beginning and having a habit now that will carry on later in life. For I've seen the best students are those who from grade school on have very organized life plans that I'm going to do X amount of hours of study, then I'm going to do some chores in the home, in the work, etc., etc. And lay yourself out that way and try to stick to it. And we are habitual creatures, and this is the beauty of man. You can develop good as well as bad habits by sticking to a routine on a basis and allowing that routine to become your natural way and natural flow. And I think this is the key, as opposed to just reacting to a moment that I get an urge. I'm an urge to study. I'm an urge to clean. My room been filthy for 5 weeks, but I'm going to clean it today, and then again gets filthy for 5 weeks. This is not the style of life.
You need to balance it out.
Balance it out and be regular, whatever you adopt.